Jack Meets Dennis is the sixth episode of the first season of 30 Rock. This is directed by Juan José Campanella, and as always, there will be spoilers as I go through the episode and share some thoughts. And there are three, maybe four parts to the narrative. The maybe fourth one involves Josh and Elizabeth Taylor. It takes up a tiny amount of time, but it was pretty well executed. Elizabeth Taylor, in theory, actually comes to hurt Josh because she's offended by his impersonation that he did, and I really like how it was filmed. She's played by Rachel Dratch, and I actually think the lighting in particular was really effective. I thought they did a really great job with it. I'll talk about the story with Liz in a minute as it takes up the most amount of time, but we also have part of the narrative focusing on Jenna and Tracy. Jenna tells Jack she is 29. And to her credit, he asked her a load of questions, quick-fire questions, very well-written bit of dialogue that basically would prove she's 29, when she was born, when she graduated, who her high school crush was, and it was beautifully executed, very entertaining. But Jenna worries that she doesn't look young enough, so she ends up getting Botox and collagen. And I did laugh out loud a little bit at one point when she said to Liz, "Don't I look 10 years younger?" And Liz responded, "No, younger, even you look like a fetus." Which is not what I immediately thought of, but once she said it, I could see it. So, a decent part of the narrative. It felt maybe like we needed a bit more of a conclusion for that part of the story. I felt like we needed one more scene for that, but everything else worked really well. Tracy is annoyed because a magazine called him normal. And he doesn't want to be normal. He wants to be somebody who's edgy and weird, and he decides to get a face tattoo. It's not real, and I feel like it was probably pretty obvious that it wasn't real, but it was interesting to see how it played out, and Liz found out because he left his face on the pillow, basically. And again, not a bad part of the narrative. That one did feel like it had a decent conclusion. The main narrative focuses on Liz, and Liz is back with her former boyfriend, Dennis. And Dennis is, in general, it's hard to judge Dennis as a character, because on the one hand, he does seem hardworking, but at the same time, particularly Jack, they're kind of looking down on him for not being in the same league as they are. At the same time, I don't think he has the most mature attitudes, but he's working hard. He's selling beepers. He's the beeper king now. So it's kind of difficult to judge the character because on the one hand, yeah, he does seem quite immature, but at the same time, it's not fair to judge him just because he's not working in something with the same caliber as Jack and Liz and everybody else. Jack gives Liz a reservation, or a phone number rather, for an exclusive restaurant. She ends up going with Dennis, and Dennis introduces himself to Jack, who is there as the beeper king. And he clearly seems proud of his work, it's admirable. I don't necessarily like the character, but he has some okay qualities. And he then comes to the office to see Liz and also to sell his beepers, which was a little bit awkward. And Liz ultimately realizes that she has to break up with Dennis. Her reasoning, not all of them are great. One of which she said that she has to break up with him because he wears shirts with Looney Tunes embroidered on them. And that's awesome. That sounds awesome. What's wrong with having Looney Tunes on your clothing? I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. You're never too old for Looney Tunes. So I didn't love that logic, but I do like the fact that she did realise that she was with him for maybe the wrong reasons. And she was with him wanting him to be somebody else. And ultimately, he ended up moving in with her, which is maybe not the most predictable way the episode could have gone. But it definitely wasn't too bad an ending. As I said, I don't particularly love the character, but he has some selling points. In all, though, it's an enjoyable episode. I think it's very well done. There are a lot of different things happening, a lot of substance. Yes, the part with Jenna felt like something was maybe not finished completely, but other than that, I liked it. Some solid moments. Jack Meets Dennis is a pretty good episode.